All right. Hello and welcome to the newest episode of the New Year's Six podcast. Today I'll be starting my week one preview prediction videos. So I'm going to take the top 5 games of the week and give a little bit more in-depth coverage than just the general video that came out today, one of the two. So with that, I'm going to kick it off with one of our noon slot games. I'm going to do Clemson versus Georgia. Rivalry game, this time played in a neutral site down in Atlanta, but obviously going to be a fantastic game between two top 25 programs with a hatred and a history together. So, great way to start that Saturday off. So I'm just going to go team by team, give you a little bit of thoughts on each one, and then at the end, I'll do a final winner and a final score prediction. So with that, we'll kick it over to Clemson. What is it going to take for Clemson to win this game? And they're, a pretty heavy underdog, going up against Georgia. But what is it going to take for Clemson to win this game? So, generally speaking, this first tab is where I would talk about, any sort of roster turnover or anything like that. But since it is Clemson, they obviously do not have any. Every one of their starters is someone who has been in the program before. They do not use the transfer portal, and they do not put themselves in a position where they need to rely on quote-unquote unknowns. So for Clemson, what are those keys to the game based on what we do know about them? And first thing about Clemson is that time of possession. So they were a top 5 team last year in time of possession. So just slowing that game down, keeping the ball out of Georgia's hands, not giving Georgia the opportunity to score, and not giving them the opportunity to strike quickly. So if you end up with a methodical, calculated offense and a strong defense that gets the ball back in your offense's hands, it does give you an advantage if you are Clemson. So Clemson last year really, really good at keeping the ball on their, in their offense's hands. Those quick 3 and outs on defense. Anything along those lines goes a very long way with helping Clemson win, especially knowing that the mountain that they're about to climb going up against Georgia. So I'm going to look at Clemson and see, can they get that done, and move the game forward at their pace. In terms of, what else, we're going to take a look at how Clemson operates. That's the wrong tab. It's supposed to be about the red zone, not third down. So just making the most of their opportunities in the red zone. So Clemson last year struggled heavily when the ball was in their opponent's 20 or closer. They were 118th in all of college football in red zone offense. That has to get better, especially for a top 25 team. Even if that gets to average, Clemson can be in business. So just making sure that they are taking the most of the opportunities that are given to them, especially against a Georgia team that will make you pay if you do not score. Clemson needs to take care of the ball when it is in their opponent's red zones and capitalize on that opportunity the way that they have not done in the past. And then at the end of the day, defend the pass. So Clemson has a great secondary. They were a top 10 team defensively against the pass last year, and I would expect that to be the same again this year. So they just got to be able to continue to do what they are very good at, and lock down receivers, lock down tight ends, whatever that means. Georgia last year had a very good passing game in their own right, just outside of the top 10 of passing offense. So one of those is going to fall flat. Is it going to be Georgia's passing attack? Is it going to be Clemson's passing defense? One of the two of them is going to lose that battle. For Clemson, they need to be the ones who win it if they're going to have a shot at beating a heavily favored Georgia down in Atlanta. So with that, let's take a look at what we were looking for out of Georgia and what their keys to the game are. If I'm Georgia, I got to figure out what's going on, in the running back spot. So you bring in Trevor Etienne from Florida. Is he the next great Georgia running back? He's the only quote-unquote unknown seed, so to speak, compared to the rest of the system. Now, the rumor unsubstantiated as of right now, but there is a rumor going around that Trevor Etienne is going to be suspended for this game due to off the field issues he had over the course of the summer and will not be playing against Clemson. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. On the assumption that he is playing, what type of running back is he for Georgia? Is he that value add that they expected to get in the portal, or does he fall short and Georgia has to look to their depth of running back for someone to step up to the plate? There's a lot of hype around Etienne right now about him being one of the best running backs in the country. Time will tell, and time will tell if he's going to play. That makes it a hard key for the game if he's not there. But I'm just interested to see what Etienne does as the number one guy for Georgia this year. But outside of that, Georgia is very, very good on third down offense. They are the number one team on third down offense. They're not very, very good. They are the best. And they're going up against a Clemson third down defense that is very good in their own right. They finished 17th last year in third down defense. So again, one of those pieces is going to have to bend. One of those pieces is going to have to, make a move. Transparently, Georgia is the best third down team on both sides of the ball in all college football. They were number one on offense, number one on defense. So just creating manageable third down opportunities goes a very long way to beat Clemson. Whether it's a short field on offense and a 3rd and 2, that is something you should be able to get 9 times out of 10. On defense, if it's making a 3rd and 12, making them pay for it. If it's a 3rd and 8, that's tough. Anything that's not, 3rd and 4. Anything past that is going to be a little bit of a challenge. And just creating those types of situations over the course of the game. But Georgia on third down, if they fall back and they fall back hard, Georgia may have some trouble in this game. But if they continue to perform at that level on third down, Georgia is going to be fine over the course of this game. But where Georgia needs to improve is that red zone defense. So I talked about Clemson's red zone offense this past year, where it ended up as 118th in the country. Georgia's red zone defense was 119th. So it's going to be a battle of what's the opposite of an unstoppable force and an unmovable object? A stoppable force and a movable object? It's basically those two. Just two sides of a team that are really okay with failure. Because if you're 119th out of what was then 133, 118th out of what was then 133, you got to get better, especially for top 25 teams, especially for teams that want to have playoff aspirations and national championship aspirations. 119 is not going to cut it. So if Georgia stands tall in the red zone against a Clemson team that, transparently speaking, is terrible in the red zone on offense, Georgia will cruise. If Georgia falls backwards and continues to be one of the worst red zone defenses and Clemson steps up in this area, Clemson could, keyword could, pull this off. So with that, I'm going to go into my little prediction here. So, Clemson, Georgia, neutral site, 12 p.m. game. With that, give you a second to just kind of take in what you think your score is going to be, whatever, what your thoughts are. But with that, I'm going to flip it over. I got Georgia winning fairly big. I'm going to go, Georgia 34, Clemson 19. Again, these are computer-generated scores. I have a formula that I put some numbers into. Not going to be a super friendly, football-friendly score. You want to say 34-20, that's okay. You want to say, 35-20, that's okay. But the goal is roughly about a 15-point game. I don't recall what the spread is offhand, but I liked the over a little bit more when I was looking at it. So I think Georgia should be fine in week one. And again, this is also a Clemson team that I predicted to win the ACC, but you don't have to beat Georgia to win the ACC. Yeah, you really have to just at this point beat FSU and whoever is up at the top right now, and you're good to go. But I think this is one that Clemson falls. Just a matter of can they bounce back. So, what are your thoughts on this game? Who do you think is going to win? Where am I right? Where am I wrong? Comment below, like, subscribe, everything like that. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the New Year's Six podcast. Tune in next time. I'm going to be continuing these little preview videos for the rest of the week. Next one up is going to be Penn State at West Virginia. So a fun little East Coast rivalry that comes out of former conference alignment, former regionality, but now on opposite sides of the conference. Who's going to win that game? What are those keys there? Find out next time on the New Year's Six podcast. So thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.